Hello everyone, let's have some fun today. So my CAD of choice is Alibre, and I will demonstrate how to model this box in Alibre Atom3D. Then we will try to model it in FreeCAD. The point of this exercise is to show you what is my workflow for Alibre, and it can be called top-down modeling, or more precisely in context modeling. And I will apply same methods in FreeCAD and show you that it breaks FreeCAD totally. So this exercise will show us that the appropriate workflow for appropriate CAD system is important. FreeCAD is quite strict and we will need to adjust our actions to the workflow that FreeCAD supports. But let's start with a new project and with a new file. In Alibre, to have the file with multiple bodies, you need to start with assembly. Let's cancel that. And we will need two parts. One for the body and one for the lid. Now we can save our files, select the folder and rename that. This will be design, assembly, this will be called box, and this will be called lid. Okay. So what is in context modeling? As you can see, this is an assembly, but there are no parts yet. We have created two new parts, we did not import them. So we can select the first one that is anchored, the red sign here, and we can edit it here, or we can edit it in the context of the assembly. We will go and enable reference lines, select the top plane and activate Sketch. Now you will see that Alibre Atom3D, being a less expensive option from Alibre, does not have pre-configured shapes. It has a rectangle, but you get only 2-point rectangle. You don't get center point rectangle. Let's draw it, set dimensions to 60 and 50 millimeters. In Alibre you need to click off after your actions, because it stores last entity, be it a vertex or a line, in memory, and it will use it for the next action you choose. So just click off. So in Alibre design, the center rectangle is constrained in this way. We will need to take the midline constraint, select opposite corners, and choose the center point, the origin. Click off, and again select other opposite corners and the center point. Now we have the same center rectangle that we would have in Alibre design, but with additional clicks. We will go into differences between Alibre Atom3D and Alibre design in future video, but basically you can do same things with both. Alibre Atom will just require you to make some more clicks. Okay, let's extrude it for 30 millimeters and then let's shell it. Let's shell it for 3 millimeters. Then let's select inner face, activate Sketch. Now we can project our geometry. Let's select the reference line and maintain associativity. Now we will select the rectangle, and now it will be the correct rectangle. We will set edges to be equal, and we will dimension it for 8 millimeters. Sketch is fully constrained. Let's go and extrude it. Let's extrude it up to geometry, select face, and done. Now we will go and fillet the edge. Let's set it for 6 millimeters. And you can take a point of this action, because in Alibre the filleting and chamfering tools are quite powerful. Let's edit it and show you. So we can go for the radius of 8 millimeters, and it will extend the fillet to the edges. What's more, we can go above the edges and let's set 20 millimeters. And the fillet will still work as expected. I will show you in FreeCAD that it's not possible there. So let's set to the 6 millimeters and click OK. Now let's activate Sketch on the top plane. Let's select and project with this button. Select the entity, create a reference figure and maintain association. Click OK. So why did I do that? Because I want my heat insert, and let's dimension it for 4 millimeters in diameter. I want it always be 2 millimeters from the edge of this feature. So for the heat insert, I always want my blow to be 2 millimeters. So I'll take the dimensioning tools, select a circle and this edge, and I will be presented with the choice. You can explore all the choices, but how I like to do it is the circle is inside and it's the outside of the circle that I want to dimension to the inside of this arc. So I will select from the outside to the inside, click OK, and it will be the dimension I want. I'll set it for 2 millimeters. And now we see that we are almost constrained, but we have a freedom of movement here. So I want it to be between these 2 points in the middle. So I'll use the midpoint constraint, select these 2 points and the center point. Now I'm fully constrained. I will deactivate the sketch and extrude cut it for 7 millimeters. Now I want this feature to be mirrored to the all corners. I'll select the extrusion. I can select directly inside the viewport. So extrusion, fillet, and the extrusion cut. Then mirror, select the plane to mirror against, and click OK. I will select extrusion, fillet, extrusion cut, and the mirror, and mirror it against this plane. OK. Now I want to have a lip, so I'll just go and activate Sketch on the top face. I will select outside edges and project them as sketch figures, so I don't need to redraw them. Now I will box select all the features and click offset. Set it for 1.5 millimeters and click OK. What you'll notice is that there are no constraints for this offset. I need to do that manually. And that's not the difference between Alibre Atom3D and Alibre Design. In Alibre Design, you still need to manually constrain your offsets. So let's go for the horizontal constraint. Then let's go for vertical constraint. And then let's dimension it against these points. The distance is already correct because we offset it for 1.5 millimeters. So we just need to click and make those dimensions defined. This one. So now we are fully constrained. Let's deactivate the sketch and let's extrude cut for -2 millimeters. And the first part is finished. Let's change the color. Something like that. And it's done. Now, let's go and edit the second part. And now starts the in-context modeling. Because in Alibre I can just select the face and start the sketch on it. The face belongs to the different part, the first part we modeled. So now I'll just select the outside edges, project them as sketch figures with maintaining association, click OK, and my first sketch is done. I will extrude it for 10 millimeters, and you can see how the lid forms. Now let's create the lip. So we can hide our first box, select the inside face, activate the sketch, and unhide the box and hide the lid. So now let's select these 4 edges and project them as figures. Click OK, deactivate Sketch. We can unhide the lid and hide the box. Select the sketch and extrude cut for 2 mm. You will see that it's outside our body, so let's reverse it and click OK. Now we have our lip created. Now let's go to the new inside face, activate the sketch, and hide the lid again, unhide the box. We can flip our sketch plane with this button, and now we will just select the whole inside face and project it, maintaining association. Deactivate sketch, unhide hide, and let's select the sketch and extrude. Now I want the thickness of the lid to be 3 mm, just like the shell. So what we will do is select up to geometry, select the face, and it's now fully cut. However, we can set the offset. Let's set it to -3 mm, and you will see that now it's inside the body. Click OK, and that's done. Now I would like to select top face, activate the sketch, and again I will hide and unhide, and then I will select these 4 circles, project them. Now I will select reference figures and maintain association. These circles are for the heat insert, but I want my screw to be M3, so I need different diameter holes. So I will create new circles, and you'll see that at some point they will infer equality. Let's use that for our advantage. Now the only thing left to do is to dimension one of the circles for 3 mm. Now we can unhide our lid, we can extrude cut, through all, and let's select the sketch. Click OK, and now our holes are aligned and cut. Now we want to create countersink for our bolt heads. In Alibre Design, you have the hole tool, but in Alibre Atom you don't. So let's select first hole, set the chamfer, and let's select all other holes as well. Now from the FreeCAD I know that the diameter of the head for the screw is 6.1. We will subtract the diameter of the hole and divide it by 2. And now we have our countersunk holes for screws. Let's color the part. Hide the reference geometry. Go to the assembly level. And let's explode it. Click manual explode and just move this lid away. So you can see, here's our lid. And here's our box. Okay, now to the FreeCAD. I will be using the latest development version of the FreeCAD. You can see it here. But I'll use the classic theme because I'm used to it. But those new light and dark are pretty good as well. So let's create a new document and create 2 bodies inside the FreeCAD. Now with FreeCAD you can just rename the bodies and the features pressing F2. Unfortunately in Alibre you cannot do that. you need to use context menu. There is no shortcut for renaming even in Alibre design. So let's call it box. And let's call it lid. Let's start with the box, activate, and basically do the same actions as we did in Alibre. So let's activate the sketch, select the top plane, select the center rectangle, 60 and 50 millimeters, fully constrain, close pad for 30 millimeters, and shell it for 3 millimeters. So far so good. Let's take the inner face, select sketch, project this line, hide the thickness to see the line, select the 2-point rectangle, set it, dimension it for 8 millimeters, and make these edges equal. Close, let's pad it up to face, select the top face, click OK, and fillet the edge for 6 millimeters and click OK. Now, as I promised, I'll show you first limitation of the FreeCAD, and it's because of the Open Cascade, the geometric kernel that FreeCAD is running on. So if we added this fillet and set the radius of 8 millimeters, which is our cube dimension, and click OK, we will get the error and our fillet will be gone. This is because the fillet cannot intersect edges with geometry. So if we go like for 15 millimeters, we will get the same error. And if we want our fillet to be as close as possible to the edges, we'll need to go 7 and some 9s behind the separator. But for this, we don't need it. We will set back to 6 millimeters and that will be fine. Now let's hide the error screen, select top face and project the arc. Let's make a circle for our heat insert. Let's dimension it for 4 millimeters. And let's dimension it. And as you see, FreeCAD did not ask additional input and understood exactly what I wanted. Now in FreeCAD there's a symmetry tool that looks like a midpoint constraint in Alibre, but unfortunately it does not work this way. So if we select, we will get our constraint sketch. So we will need to use reference geometry. Let's make 2 lines from the center of our circle and make them equal. And this will fully constrain our sketch. Okay, now let's pocket it for 7 millimeters. And now it's time for one more great feature of the FreeCAD. We can select the pad, the fillet, and the pocket and use the MultiTransform tool. Let's select mirror transformation and it will mirror our part around the first axis. Click OK and we can mirror it again, selecting the horizontal sketch axis, and it will mirror across to the other side as well. So in a single action, we could mirror every single corner. So now let's create a lip offset. Let's create sketch. Let's project this line, and as you see, and I'll hide the body, the projected lines will always be reference geometry and we cannot convert them to regular geometry. So we will need to trace it. So let's go to the regular geometry and select the rectangle. Now we can select our sketch and use the new offset tool. You will see that we can change the mode by tapping M, and we can add offset constraint by tapping J. Let's set it to -1.5, and it's a visual bug that it's not constrained. We'll just push one dot and it will be constrained. Now we can pocket it for 2 millimeters, and the first part is done. Now we will activate a lid, and if we try to select and use the same technique and the workflow that we used in Alibre and create a sketch on that face, we will be faced with this dialog. Do we want to create independent or a dependent copy? Let's not do that. Let's select and create the SubShape Binder by ourselves. We now have this binder. Let's hide the box, and we could use this binder to create a sketch on. Now we will project just 2 lines because they are reference geometry, and we will trace it with a rectangle. Close, and let's pad it for 10 millimeters. Good. Okay. Now let's select our box and hide our lid, and now let's create the shape binder for the lip. We'll hide the box and unhide the lid, select the bottom face, and create new sketch. Let's hide the pad, and we will be left with the binder. Now again, let's project 2 lines and trace them with a rectangle. Now we're able to pocket it for 2 millimeters to create our lip. Now what you'll see that we still have our binder and the internal geometry is available to us. So let's select this face and create new sketch. Let's hide our body so it's easier for us, and let's project every single line. You will notice we need to do a lot of work to do that. We cannot just project the whole binder. We will get an error. We will need to select each edge and project it individually. Okay, now we need to trace it. Let's use the new polyline tool and start here. We will select one vertex, second one, the next one. So far so good. Let's select the next one. And suddenly we're over constrained. If we click Ctrl Z and try to do that with a regular line, we will be faced with an error and over constraining. Let's hit Ctrl Z. Let's start maybe with the arc. Let's close the error log and select the arc. Here's the center point. 2 points. Arc is created. Now let's connect it with a line. And it's over constrained again. So we won't be able to use the external geometry properly if it's complicated enough. So what can we do? We will close it. We will delete the sketch. We will hide our binder. Select the box. And let's select the inside floor and make the binder of that. Now, we can use our binder to pocket up the face. Let's select the face. And now we can set the offset of 2 millimeters. Minus 2 millimeters, and we will get, minus 3 millimeters, and we will get the same result we had in our Alibre. However, I wouldn't consider it a good practice to use subshape binders like that. But okay. Now, let's select the top face and create new sketch. We'll enable the box and hide the lid and project geometry. We cannot project geometry directly. As you can see, we still need to use subshape binders. So let's cancel our sketch. Take the box, select the edges, or better, we will just enable the previous binder, hide our box, hide the pocket, and we will have this geometry in place. So now let's select top face, create sketch, and just hide the pocket. Now let's project screw holes, and we can just trace the circles. Now let's set these circles as equal. This and this equal. This and this and this equal. So all the circles are equal, and now let's just make this and this circle equal as well. And now we're fully constrained. Let's close it. We don't need to specify the dimension because we will use a hole tool, where we will select that we want to use ISO profile, the M3, and it should be contour sunk. Hit OK, and we have the same model. Let's do the test. Now let's go to the Alibre. Let's hide our exploded view, and let's go to the box and our first sketch and edit it. And let's change the dimensions to 40 and 70. Deactivate sketch, generate to last feature, and go to this root assembly, and we will see that our box updated as expected. Let's go to the view. Let's select the shaded with all edges, and we will see that everything aligns perfectly and everything updates as expected. Now back to FreeCAD. Activate the box body, select the first sketch we made, and edit the sketch. Change the same dimensions, make it 70 and 40. Click OK. And we are greeted with some errors. Now let's hide the lid for a second and take a look on the box. We will notice that we don't have the lip, and we don't even have holes for heat inserts. So let's go and check in each individual feature. Thickness is fine, the pad is fine, the fillet is fine, and the pocket does not appear. Now let's inspect our sketch. And what we will see that the circle that we fully constrained against this arc now is moved away. Yes, we can argue that that's not a proper way to constrain it, but again, my design intent was that it should always be 2 millimeters from the edge. Not in the center, not reference to anything else, 2 millimeters from the edge. But unfortunately, in FreeCAD, this geometry does not stay in place. Let's go back to Alibre, let's edit the box, let's hide the lid, and we can easily find our feature by just double clicking on it and look for the sketch. And as you can see, the sketch is constrained in the same way, but it did not break during the update. So to fix it, let's delete this dimension, we can move that back and dimension it again. Or 2 millimeters. That should fix this issue. Let's go to MultiTransform, that should fix this issue, and let's go to the pocket. Now, pocket does not appear as well, so the lip is not present. Let's go inside the sketch and check it out. Now you will see that our offset that was constrained by FreeCAD itself, by the algorithm built in FreeCAD, is overlapping. So there's an intersection of lines and there are multiple profiles, which is not supported in FreeCAD. So what we need to do is to delete this construction line, move it, and let's move those construction lines in place, and let's just create the same construction line again, and make this construction line and this construction line equal, and then we're constrained again. So now our lip is back in place. Okay, now let's go to the lid. And we'll see that it's not updated as well. Let's inspect that. So the binder is fine. The binder did update. Okay, let's go for the pad. The pad did update as well. Now let's go for the next binder. It's fine as well. And now let's go for the pocket. Yes, it's fine as well. Next binder. It's fine. The pocket is fine. And the hole is fine. However, the sketch is not. Somehow FreeCAD lost this association with the reference geometry. However, the reference geometry is still in place. Okay. Not a problem. And let's constrain those circles again. And make them equal. Close, and we have fixed. And we have almost fixed our part. We don't have the central cut. So this pocket and this binder. Now this binder broke. That was responsible for the inner cut. So this is the demonstration that this in-context modeling, referencing different parts in FreeCAD does not work properly. In the next video I will show you how to design parts in FreeCAD that are parametrically updatable and that perform as intended. But now let me know if you have your favorite workflow in FreeCAD and Alibre in the comments down below, and see you in the next video.